Trying to get it home. Oh, here we go. Smells like a small fire. We don't burn the neighbor's house down. Good news. Got the car running again. And I checked for spark. And I had spark. So I checked for temperature with my laser beam thermostat. And 3 cylinders were cold. So I took the plugs out, cleaned them, finally got heat to those 3 cylinders. The bad news is, by driving it like I am, I'm damaging the engine because the oil pan is full of gasoline, which means most likely all of my rings are dead. So I am parking it for the time being. I am down the road a little ways. I am trying to get it home. That was my wife. She didn't even see me. Yesterday, driving it on my last Sunday drive, I encountered a lady who pulled me over and said, "You have a tail light out." She said this as if that was my biggest problem. I appreciate the kindness though. I'm glad I have my fire extinguisher. I don't know how I'm going to get it home. Oil pan is full of gas. So I'm just trying to clear it out so it will run until I can get home. And then park it for the rest of the time and then start working on my C3. So here goes nothing. Okay, it burned off. I think it's still running on starter fluid. Well, the C4 experiment is just put on hold for a minute. It still isn't starting. I think it's out of gas, which is weird because I just filled it with 10 gallons, and so it must all be draining into the oil pan. But I'll figure that out later on in the summer, or maybe even in the fall when I get back around to it. I'm just excited to have it. I'm more excited about this. This is now the first week of April. Today is the first day that we do not have snow. The temperatures are still about 25 to 30 degrees outside. So I'm about a month away from having temperatures warm enough to paint. So what I have to do in that month period is get this running and get the body ready to paint so I can get it painted the first or second week of May. And I'm pretty excited about it. I've been in hibernation a little bit. I have finally finished watching every single Corvette video on YouTube, and there's nothing else to watch. So it's time to get back to work. What I have recently got, pretty excited about this, it just came. DEI, I ordered this wiring loom kit from DEI, which looks to be pretty awesome. This will give me a chance to protect all the wiring harness in the engine bay, protect the wiring harness in the cab. Some of the other things that I need to do to this car are, the last time I worked on this was about 5 months ago, which is incredibly a long time ago. And where I left off is I made an air intake come out over the radiator, and I had to cut some of the bracing for the radiator out, which plenty of you had sent me hate emails for doing so. I need to reinforce that bracing system. I need to make seat brackets so those C5 seats adapt to the C3 seat rails by the seashore. It's hard to say. I don't frankly know where to start. Like, there's so much overload of excitement to work on it. I think I'm going to take off the hood and look at the wires. Work on the seats. Wires. That is dusty. Probably should have used an air mask for that. It's okay. What are you supposed to do with this? So here's a little bit of what the engine bay looks like. Wow. Wow, indeed. My lungs aren't full enough. I don't know if you're curious, but this is a painless wiring system, and everything is labeled injector 4, injector 2. It's pretty awesome. My fear is that these injectors are not going to be, probably need new injectors is my guess. That is my guess. Because who knows what kind of gas was used. You know what I mean? They might be gummed up. Probably could clean them. I'm gonna hopefully turn the key before I figure that out though. Full disclaimer, I don't know anything about wiring. So now where do I want this wiring harness to go? Here is progress so far. Got up front, intake air temp, kind of rolls back. And this was a little bit of a cluster, kind of hard to get through it. Wrapped it all up, put it below the air vent, the oil vent. And so I have this side cleaned up. I didn't record it because one, it takes forever. Two, if you can just think of like any swear word and then repeat it for 30 minutes, that's kind of what this was. A little bit more difficult than I thought it was going to be, but I am close. Seems kind of silly to be doing this since this is for the other side, but it's all going to be covered anyway. Huh. The things I do. Now this is a bit of an interesting situation. I got this side tidied up and I started to piece together this side, and a couple of things I noticed. One is that I'm missing some wiring, and some of that wiring that I'm missing are the fan wires. I'm missing an alternator wire. And I had, on this engine, there are two temperature sensors. One is up front on the water pump, and one is down on the head. This only comes with one temperature sensor. And so it made me pause and not continue doing wiring. It just so happened that I completed the passenger side, which has no issues, but the driver's side is the ones that had issues. That was just luck of the draw. I just started over there, so I don't even know why. Now I have to go back, and there are some relays back in the ECU that control the fans, and there is some wiring to do, and it looks like I haven't figured it out yet. I started looking through forums last night, and I still haven't completely figured it out, but it looks like you take a wire off the alternator and run it to the OBD1 connector, but because it's an LED light, that may be a problem, and I need a resistor in line. Haven't figured that out yet. I don't know why there isn't an alternator line. Let's see, these are air pump relay, fuel relay. They're not in there. Vaguely remember that. Then I have a fan number 2 relay, number 1 relay, fuel test, can purge. Okay, there's the can purge. Oh, you know what? That's a stupid line I was looking for. Look and see what our happenings are up here. So this chickup. I don't know what a chickup is. What would that be? This is the transmission, and that needs to go down into the transmission. This wire is very long, and it is fuel pump, which is in the back of the car. That needs to go to the back of the car. Let's see, over here I have this. This. Why? To replace the interior stuff. So I have an additional fuse block that I need to string up. And do any of these look like they go in to the alternator? No, this is all steering. Weird, because it's like square. Okay. Abort. Abort this idea. It's a bad idea. Abort. I think on a positive note, I'm fantastic at wiring, so this is going to be no problem. I'm going to have to take a pause here because I got to figure out what in tarnation I got to do for the alternator. Why isn't there a relay for the fan? I must be missing things. Oh man, here's a whole bunch of stuff. Headlight, ground wiring kit. Look, there's the... What the heck, dude? This is the VATS. I think this goes to the alternator. That's what it feels like. If this goes in the alternator? No, it doesn't. Close. Glad I opened that. Now I don't know. Man, there's some nice wire in here. What else is in that fancy box? A dimmer switch? Whoa, I got new dimmer switch? Did I order this? Awesome. This is the knock sensor for the other side. Some relays. What? Okay, so no question, I can have this running by May of 2024. I need to go do some homework. In the meantime, I will also sort through the fan wiring, get it set up. So I need to put the seat in so I can put the digital display in with the tack and all the wiring. So then I can put the wiring in. Seats.